What is up, champs? We are back in Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Now, a lot has happened. Not in the game, because I haven't played it since last time. But in my life, things have happened. So, recently, I decided to shave my head. Now I am bald. And it feels interesting. I believe people. Hey, when was I in court? What happened last time? Okay, so apparently we're in a trial. Last time, we walked around and we talked to a woman named Sally, I believe. But the problem is I don't remember any of the details. But since I am bald, I have at least, +5 intelligence, so let us go. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. The prosecution will show the court that at 2:30 p.m. on October 15th, the defendant, Mr. Will Powers, killed fellow actor Jack Hammer in Studio 1 of the Global Studios. It is impossible for anyone else to have committed this heinous crime. The evidence presented during the trial will all point to that fact. I see. Very well. I would like to move on to some testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution may call its first witness. Very well. I call a most familiar face, Detective Gumshoe, to the stand. I don't even exactly remember what voices I used. But, I don't think I ever remembered what voices I used, so I guess it's not very different from any others, but it might get a little dicey. Detective, if you would briefly describe this case to the court. Yes, sir. What was this guy's voice? He kept saying, say. It's kind of got like a, kind of, the accent when you say see, see. Kind of get like that Popeye voice, like big deep, from what I remember. Yes, sir. I'll explain with the guide map here. To understand this case, it's important to grasp the layout of the studios. See? This here in the employee area. The actor did a run-through of their action scenes during the morning here. This is the main gate to the studios. The security lady that worked in the studios was here at 1 p.m. on that day. Past the security station there is a gate, see? Past that are the studios. And here it is, Studio 1. This is the scene of the murder, where the body was found. Now, on the day of the murder, October 15th, there were only 3 people here. The victim, Jack Hammer. The defendant, Will Powers. And a young woman, the production assistant. All the production staff were in the employee area until noon. Then, after lunch, the victim, Jack Hammer, went to Studio 1. Right after that, at 1 p.m., the security lady got to the guard station. Now jump ahead to later that day at 5 p.m. The production staff came to Studio 1 to perform a rehearsal. Needless to say, the rehearsal was cancelled. The time of death was 2:30 p.m. So, they're saying this man died at 2:30. Security lady got there at 1. He went over there at 12. But what happened between 12 and 2:30? Or 12 and 1? That we don't know. And what happened? And who the fuck stabs a man through the chest with a spear? And does not get... Who gets stabbed in the chest with a spear and does not even bleed? I guess he's in a costume. Okay, but still, I feel like the spear would have some blood on it. So maybe this is a setup. The samurai spear found lodged in the victim's chest was the murder weapon. That's the case, in brief. Oh, I just noticed that he has like a red pin behind his left ear. That's interesting. I don't know. Now it's kind of throwing me off. Like, why is that there? I don't really like how that pin looks, honestly. I'm gonna be completely honest. Looks kind of out of place. Anyone like to hear that again? Should I listen to that whole thing again? Am I supposed to? I think I can probably remember that. So the murder weapon was a spear. How medieval! So the man gets stabbed with a fucking spear, which is a rough life. It really is. Your Honor. Why did I just use a southern accent? Your Honor. Now, this case is quite simple if you ask one question. And that question is, what did the security lady at the guard station see? Understood. Let's call the security officer to the stand. Oh no, not this fucking lady again, man. Her voice. Will the witness declare her name? What is this? My, aren't you a handsome fellow? I'm afraid I'm a bit flustered. Your name, please. Oh, dearie, no need to be embarrassed. Just call me Grandma. Your name, please. Seems Edward has a bit of trouble getting his witness to say their names. Wendy Oldbag, dearie. Just call me Grandma. So even when I was young, I was an old bag. Still, the chin would make fun of me and just believe it, but there was just this boy Captain Chesney high and all cried out. Objection. I object to the witness's talkativeness. Objection sustained. The witness will refrain from rambling on the stand. I was just getting to the good part, dearie. Perhaps we could get to the testimony. No, the witness was stationed at the main guard gate on the day of the murder, correct? Yes, say I was. And to get to the scene of the murder, someone would have to pass by you. You know your stuff, dearie. You may begin your testimony. She sure is one hell of an old bag. She sure is, Phoenix. She sure is. On the day of the murder, I arrived at the guard station at 1 p.m. Poor old Hammer and the rest had been doing a run-through since the morning. I had some errands to run that morning. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. I was at the main gate from then until 5. Now, the murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? Interesting to me because a certain man walked by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, that man right there, and he was heading towards the studio. You saw the defendant then? Very well. Let's begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. So, what evidence do I exactly have? Because I can... What do I got? Oh, I got this photo. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I could probably use here. You know, I don't have to... Well, what errands did you have to run? What kind of errands? Oh, you know... Answer the question. Actually, I was watching poor Hammer and Powers observing, you know. Observing? Weren't you supposed to be at the guard station? Whippersnapper, I told you I locked the gate, didn't I? I did my job. I'm not sure your boss would see it that way. Anyway, I always watch Hammer's run-throughs. Always. Never missed one in all my years. Wow, I want to see a Silver Samurai run-through too. You could quite being a spirit medium and take up guard duty. Not a bad idea. Anyway, it was 1 when I got to the guard station. The main gate in there until 5. Did I gotta press her on this? I think I probably should. So you were watching there the whole time, no breaks, not even a second. Of course, I am a professional, you know. Are you criticizing how I do my job, whippersnapper? No, it's just, after seeing you eating those donuts in the guard station yesterday. I can watch the gate and eat donuts at the same time, whippersnapper. Snipper whapper. Old Windbat is losing a nick. Why don't you go and raise an objection? So the witness was on duty through the afternoon the whole time. Very well. What did you see? The murder happened at 2:30 p.m., right? I do believe 2:30 p.m. because pierced through the chest by a spear. I got a card key. I got an autopsy report. Someone walked by me at 2 p.m. It was Powers, and then, you know, this is what you're talking about, you dumbass. Let me get this straight, old bag, Miss Old Bag. You've been saying that since yesterday you saw Mr. Powers, correct? But you're talking about the man in this photo, aren't you? Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Let me see that photo. What is this exactly? None other than the Steel Samurai, defender of Neo Olde Tokyo. Is it Neo Olde? I feel like it's probably Neo Old. Like old. I feel like I've seen that word before. I don't know why it's Neo Old though. Because like Neo means new. Well, it doesn't mean new, but like it usually implies a futuristic setting. Okay, let me just stop being a fucking weeb. And Miss Old Bag. Is this the Mr. Powers that you saw? Of course, didn't your mama teach you any sense, sonny? Anyone can plainly see that's Powers, right? No, they can't. Well, I mean, I wonder. True, Mr. Powers does play the role of the Steel Samurai. But that does not mean Mr. Powers is the Steel Samurai. Surprise face, and now she's just expressionless. Oh, now she has an expression again. I know that. I wasn't born yesterday. No one in the court is accusing you of that, Mr. Witness. He's having trouble calling her old bag, apparently. However, you do not have proof that this person in the photos is Mr. Will Powers, do you? Oh, nosy old man. Of course I have proof. What? Huh? Even Edgeworth is surprised. The prosecution would like to ask the witness. Please make known all the information in your possession ahead of time. How was I supposed to know everybody would be so nosy? You should be ashamed, all of you. Anyway, I showed that photo to the young detective. He told me this isn't any good as evidence, pal. You didn't even give it a second look. Wow, old Windbig has left Edward speechless. She's good. Let's hear about your proof, then. The man in the photo. I never say anything I don't mean to you, mind you. That morning doing the run-through of the action scene, I saw Powers trip and fall. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. Apparently he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Now look at that picture. You can see he's dragging his legs, see? Clear as day. That's how I knew it was Powers. Happy? So he had sprained his ankle. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. She's gotta be hiding something. I'll press her until she squeals. Okay, so I press. Okay, don't press that. So, trip and fall. Yes, and to think he's supposed to be the Steel Samurai. What a laugh. So Powers sprained his ankle. I helped make it better for him, of course. You helped make it better? I kissed it where it hurt. This woman, man. What was that other broad's name? Damn. I honestly forgot. Damn. I have a strange memory sometimes, you know? Well, actually, it's just a, like, you know... Okay, so, you know but you don't know is what I'm saying, so... Well, I'm not even said anything because I can't keep a straight monologue. So, basically your memory works like, you can recall, your memory is more than you think it is, but you can only recall so much stuff without any stimulus. But if you have a stimulus, you can recall quite a lot of stuff. But right now I can only see Miss May. See, I just recalled it. Miss May. That Brown. I'd rather have Miss May at the witness stand than this fucking... I don't even know. Let's just skip over that part, shall we? Where was the assistant then? Oh, her? She was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Power's ankle. You may continue your testimony. He broke one of the props. It was a big mess. He broke a prop. Sure did. His own samurai spear. His samurai spear? The murder weapon. That guy was there with my duct tape to fix it. This strikes me as a significant detail. I better write it down in the court record. Apparently he sprained his ankle pretty bad. Was Mr. Power's ankle badly sprained? Not so bad that he couldn't walk around. He went to his dressing room to rest up after lunch. Thus the nap. Anyway, I saw him dragging his foot when he walked. Dragging his foot? Okay. I think we've heard enough. Haven't we, Your Honor? Well, there is one thing that bothers me, which is... where is the steel samurai costume now? Actually, well, we couldn't find it. We're looking, though. Anyway, that's not important. The witness did see the steel samurai, yes. And it is clear that the person in the steel samurai suit was Mr. Will Powers. I suppose that's right. Are you sure you're sure, Your Honor? Object. Hold it right there. We keep talking possibilities, but we have to agree that this photo shows the steel samurai. Nowhere in this photos can we see Mr. Will Powers. The defense has a point. I also wonder if someone else not caught on camera could have killed Mr. Hammer. We have to consider that possibility also. Then allow me to remove that doubt from your mind, Your Honor. But the witness will continue her testimony. Please. No need to ask twice. Continued. Time of poor Hammer's death was 2:30 p.m. True? Yes, it was. The person I saw go to the studio then was Will Powers. No one else went there. If they had, I would have seen them. Or would you have? So if no one else went to the studio, then it would have to be the steel samurai who did it. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Okay. What do I got in my tool bag? Yes, it was in fact, sadly, 2:30 p.m. Was Will Powers. No one else went there. $2:30 p.m. I mean, if I press her on this, I don't think any of this is gonna really come. How do you know that? Didn't I just explain? I gave donuts to the young detective, and then, after some rubbish, after being a secret pal, he told me everything. I see, Detective Gunter shows his fellow officers fondness for donuts. Are you absolutely sure? Oh, quiet, Sonny. Nobody suspicious looking passed by at all. Nobody suspicious looking, right? No one else went there. What about before you got to the guard station? You mean before one? Well, everyone was in the employee area before then. And I locked the main gate so no one could get in. Not to mention, if they had, I would have seen them. How would you have seen them? Are you sure? The witness has answered the question. Anyone going to the studio would have to pass by the witness. That's right, Sonny. You let him have it, you edgy boy. Edgy boy. Yeah, you don't exactly want to be called Edgy boy. That is not a very good name. You know, Blanco Nino's maybe worse, but Edgy boy is definitely pretty bad. Old Windbag sure has balls. Or well, you know what I mean. Old windbags have a way of skipping over important details after all. Or for the matter, entirely forgetting them. How convenient. Something for you to look forward to, perhaps. Okay, so I think I would have seen them. So do I show them the map here? It'd be like, no. And I got it wrong. Okay. Yes, I got that wrong. No one else, the only person. What do I just show him the picture again? There's the gate. There's the employee area. Well, they could have just gone to Studio 1 without having much problem, couldn't they? Which I don't really. Okay. Okay, that was right. I used the same piece of evidence twice? Damn, I wasn't not expecting that. Hold on. Look at this photograph one more time. This photo was taken by that camera at the gate for the studio, correct? Yes, sir, sonny. So whenever anyone passes by here, it automatically takes a picture. And here I thought you didn't know the head from a hole in the ground. Right. Anyway, it's also true that the computer in the guard station records all security cam data. Oh, you know, if you wanted to work at the studio, we might have an opening. That very computer printed out this photo. Note that at the back of the photo are printed on the words October 15th, 2 p.m., photo number 2. Even I know what it means. It was taken at 2 p.m. on the 15th, really, sonny. Shit, I knew that, too. This here is a bit at the end where it says photo number 2. Photo number 2. The computer only held data for one photo on that day. Don't you think that's odd? Shouldn't this photo be photo number 1 if it really was the only photo? Ooh. Order, order. Please tell the court what you might mean by this, Mr. Wright. Actually, that's what I wanted to ask the witness. This evidence shows that not one but 2 people went to the studio that day, yet there was only data for one of the photos. Who could have erased the data for the other photo? Didn't Jackhammer go to Studio 1 that day? Or I'm tripping? Only someone with access, the security lady herself. Hey, me! Watch your mouth, you whippersnapper. The only person I saw that day was Will Powers. But the camera on the gate fired twice. That means 2 people went by. Well, yes, it would seem to me. Can the witness explain this to the court? I don't understand these newfangled computer things. Edgy boy, help! Believe me, I want to, but I don't know what this means either. So, help you are, you whippersnapper too. Sorry that I have to drink water so much that this fucking old woman's voice that I'm doing absolutely destroying my throat. Like, God. It's on fire. But the fire of passion that I put into these Beckfast videos is hotter. Whippersnappers? Something the matter, Miss Oldbags? Ah, that's right. I just remembered something. Let me guess. Someone else passed by the gate. Someone other than the Steel Samurai. Well, yes, I suppose you could put it that way. Sigh. I see. Your testimony, please. The other person. Every day after I finish my guard duties, I have one important job to do. I go through the photos recorded on the security computer and check them. I throw out any photos that aren't suspicious looking, you see. Come to think of it now, I remember throwing out one photo that day. Miss Oldbag, this is the first I've heard of this. Well, of course, Sonny, I only just remembered it. Right, anyway, Mr. Wright, please give the cross-examination. Well, I say, that was a turn for the unexpected, but I kind of expected this. Every day after I finish, I have one more important job. I go do the security and check them. Why the hell are you throwing out goddamn photos? How exactly do you determine this isn't suspicious looking? Oh, you can tell by looking at their faces for the most part. For the most part. This is a murder trail, Mrs. Oldbag. Well, I didn't touch that suspicious looking Will Powers photos, did I? I think she's missing the point. I think of now, I remember that one got one photo that day. What the fuck was that photo, goddamn? Well, who in the heck is in that photo you erased? Fanboy. Fanboy. Still samurai fanboys, real freaks if you ask me. They get information and rehearsals from gosh knows where. They're always hanging around, one there's there that day. Goddamn weeabloos. So what I believe is, the weeabloo came into the studio and saw the evil magistrate. And then he circled around to his blind side with the samurai spear, and he stabbed him with a critical strike. And he killed him. Because he's dumb. And that's basically the murder. Wait, I got an objection by just pressing? Hell yeah, let's go. Wait a second. Didn't you just say no one else could get in? I locked the main gates and no one can get in. Those were your words. Well, if you must know, there's a drain that goes into the employee area. The grate has been loose for a while. It leads outside, well, that's where they come in. They come in through the drain. I told you they were freaks. So this otaku man crawls through the grates. Solid Snake style. He just lies prone, waits until Will Powers passes by. Then he follows him to the Studio 1 on the ground in the bushes. And on his way, I don't know what happens. Oh, and they're kids, children, whippersnappers. Okay, kids. So on the photo that you erased, it was a boy, probably 2nd or 3rd grade. What? Order. I'm assuming everybody's freaking out because the 2nd or 3rd grade just went to a murder scene, but you know, that's just me. Let me get this straight. You saw two people pass by the gate on their way to the studios that day. One was the Steel Samurai dragging his leg. The other was a boy who looked to be about 2nd or 3rd grade. Oh yes, well, see, this type there every day. Can't stop him, can't catch him. Boy in 2nd or 3rd grade. I assume it would be hard, if not impossible, for a young boy to wield the samurai spear. Impossible, I think. It's quite heavy. Right, as I said, I didn't pay much attention. That's why I erased the data. Nick, what's going on? I mean, the boy was there. That makes him a suspect. Yeah, and they're already trying to unsuspect him. Court will take a 5-minute recess. I want the defense and the prosecution to consider this new information. And no forgetting vital information this time. October 18th. 11:08 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby. Number 3. Maybe I shouldn't read the green text. Green text. Mr. Powers. Oh god, it's this guy. Fucking Shrek. Or Blanca from Street Fighter 2. Or Street Fighter, I don't even know. This would probably be Street Fighter 4. Shit, I guess he was on a lot of Street Fighters. Okay. but he has an Irish accent. You know, as Irish people said Ireland like Ireland, but I think they actually say like Ireland. So, yes. Tell me straight, were you really in that dressing room? You didn't go to the studio. I didn't go to the studio. I was sleeping honest. Now he's Italian. It's hard, man, it's hard. So who was the Steel Samurai in the security photo? Ireland. How should I know? There we go. The Steel Samurai costume was off on the corner of the dressing room. Anyone could have walked in and taken it, really. What? You should take better care of that stuff. I couldn't imagine anybody would want to steal a Steel Samurai costume. So where does this leave me? It doesn't look good. Sniff. You're the only one lucky suspect right now. Nick, what are you going to do? First we play for more time. We'll start targeting someone else that could have conceivably have done this. Right, and it'll take them so long to shoot us down that we can get another day. Right, but if we pick the wrong person, we might lose on the spot. You don't sound very optimistic. I'm not optimistic at all, actually. Hey Nick, it's time. Okay, let's go. What does that mean? Please don't laugh like that. Sneeze. And here we are, we're back. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Mr. Willpowers. Mr. Edgeworth, will you present the prosecution's thought on the matter? The prosecution's thoughts are simple. Nothing has changed. The other person who went to the studio was a boy of roughly 10 years of age. The photo we do have may not be hard evidence. But still, there is still no one else that could have committed this crime. I call for a verdict of guilty for the defendant, Mr. Willpowers. Very well. Mr. Wright, your thoughts? The defense disagrees with the prosecution's claim. There is another person that could have committed this crime. It was Miss Oldbag. Order. Interesting. Let us hear who you have in mind. However, be aware that this court does not look kindly on accusing the innocent. If you accuse someone who is obviously innocent, you will be penalized. Right, great, as if the stakes weren't high enough. So who was this person other than Mr. Powers that could have committed this murder? The great schoolboy. No, security lady. It could have been the security lady. I'm gonna go with the assistant girl. I really want to say the security lady though, because she's a bitch. But it's the assistant girl. It was the assistant. The Steel Samurai costume was in his dressing room. She stole it, and in doing so, she became the Steel Samurai. So you're saying the Steel Samurai in the picture is really the assistant? That's correct, Your Honor. If you're serious, you've got guts, Mr. Wright. Remember the photo? Wasn't the Steel Samurai a little lame? He was dragging his foot. Oh, uh-oh. Bad feeling time. Remember the testimony concerning Powers' injury? Powers and poor Hammer were at the run-through. Oh, and me. What about the assistant? Oh, she was cleaning up backdrops, I think. She didn't know about Powers' ankles. The assistant knew nothing of Mr. Powers' injury. She could look the Steel Samurai look with that costume. But she couldn't walk the Steel Samurai walk. She could have limped. That kind of takes the leg from under the case. Mr. Wright, I'm afraid I have to penalize you as I weren't. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Maybe move on, Mr. Wright. Good, this fight isn't over yet. You want to enter one more challenge, please? Very well, go ahead. So it was this person at the oh, but it was the security lady then. Fuck her. It was the security lady, Wendy Oldbag. Woo! Steel Samurai is dragging his leg in this picture. That means whoever was in the suit knew about the morning's injury. Maybe because they've been watching the action scene run through. There was only one person other than Powers and Hammers who knew about that injury. The security lady, Oldbag. What? Whippersnapper? Order. Order. Is this true, Old Bag?
Old Bag, that's Miss Old Bag to you.
Miss Old Bag was standing guard, alone at the main gate. She was by herself. In other words, she has no alibi. She could have briefly left for post to steal the Steel Samurai costume. Then slipped into Studio 1, the scene of the murder. Why would she go through the trouble of wearing the Steel Samurai costume? Simple, Your Honor. She knew the camera at the gate would take her picture. If she was in his costume, she would point the finger at Mr. Powers. I see. Excellent detective reasoning, Mr. Wright. Oh yeah, right here. Sherlock Holmes too, baby. That's odd. Isn't this the part where Edgeworth pounces? Doesn't he usually jump up with an objection of some new damaging evidence? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution have an opinion on this matter? The prosecution has no meaningful objections at this time. Ah. So, she killed him. Is basically what you're saying, Mr. Edgeworth.
What? That's not what it's supposed to mean. Oh, so y'all think I did it, is that it?
Itchy boy.
Don't just sit there, do something.
What's my move? Maybe now's my chance to make this the whole way. Press further. The very same reason that Mr. Powers is a suspect in this case can be used to cast doubt on Miss Oldbag's action on that day.
But why would I do something so horrible to poor Hammer?
You forget that Mr. Powers lacks a clear motive too. Indeed. That did it. Now Windbag is one of the suspects. No hard feelings, I hope.
Hey, just a minute. What about the other person who went to the studio? That boy, the one whose photo I erased.
He's only a grade sorter though, as you said, 2nd or 3rd grade, wasn't?
That doesn't matter. When I was that age, I could pin a old man in 10 seconds top.
Your thoughts, Mr. Wright? That boy is not the killer.
What? How can you be so sure?
Or is it be nice to the kids and mean you're taking elders, whippersnappers? I have proof.
Proof?
Indeed. Then let's see this proof, Mr. Wright. You have the proof that shows the boy could not have committed this crime. It was the very... a break. Do I use the spear? Or do I use the photo again? Because I think I used the photo. Your Honor, the member was the samurai spear. The very spear is shown here in this photo. How could the boy have taken the spear? It's impossible. I see. Well, would the witness care to comment on this? The Windbag, speechless. This has got to be a first. Very well. This court will suspend proceedings on the current trial for today. Mr. Edgeworth, please find out more about your witness, Mrs. Wendy's. What's her name? Something Old Bag, Your Honor. Then the prosecution will look further into this Old Bag before we continue. That is all. The court is adjourned.
Whoa, wait a second. I'm not going to sit there just and run off barking up in the wrong tree, me. I'm talking.
Oh, great. Stop the presses. The Windbag wants to talk. Mrs. Windbag, what is this all about? Have you omitted something from your testimony?
Actually, if you must know, there's something I was told not to talk about.
Not to talk about? By whom? You mean it wasn't Edgeworth who told her not to talk?
Well,
testify. My lips were sealed. Who the fuck is like what? Is man like Edgeworth is not even on his game, bro. This is a rough case.
Global Studios wanted me to keep quiet about something. There were some other people at the studio on the day of the murder. They said they had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me just to pretend they hadn't been at the studios that day. But if you're going to go accusing me, I'm not letting them get away scot-free.
Miss Oldbag, this is crucial information. Why did you keep it from the court until now?
Ain't you been listening? They told me to shut my trap, and I always do what I'm told.
No, this isn't a bad dream, Your Honor. Witness the power of the old bag. Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Okay. Wanting me to keep quiet. They were some... Who are these people?
Who were these people? Well, the director and the producer for starters. The director.
We should have known something was fishy. How could they have done a render of their action scene without a director? Of course.
Yes, well, I was surprised no one asked about it. So, where were these people? The director was in the employee area all morning for the first run-through. He joined the producer around lunchtime and they had a meeting after that.
Where?
Oh, in the Studio 2 trailer. Studio 2? There was a Studio 2. Well, if you look at the guide map, here it is. You go through the gate and all the way to the left.
Path where the monkey's head is fallen over. Well, Mr. Wright, would you like to continue the cross-examination? I think I've already asked my questions, but... Do I just chill?
Or do I send it?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna send it.
So I had nothing to do with it, see? So they told me just pretend that they hadn't been in the studios that day. So they were actually in the studios? Yes, the whole day. When they heard about the murder, they beat it before the cops came. Grumble. I'll kill this woman, I swear.
I feel sorry for Edgeworth, almost. She really left him hanging on this one.
Oh, you're gonna accuse me? I'm not letting this one get away scot-free.
Dude, see? What do you mean?
Miss Oldbag, this is a trial for murder. I know that, silly. Still, they were pretty convincing about having nothing to do with it. And they gave me a little bonus on the side.
So you got your bonus and you still talked. I think I've asked all the questions I have to ask.
Your Honor,
we have learned that there were others at the Globby Studios in the day at question. The director and the producer and some bigwigs were all present.
Yet as we stand here, they have not been questioned.
I heard that it is impossible to declare a verdict on the defendant, Mr. Powers. The court acknowledges the defense's point. The prosecution will gather more information about the witnesses, Mr. Oldbag, and more information about these other people we have just been told of. I understand, Your Honor. This is the end of today's proceeding, the trial of Mr. Will Powers. That is all. This court is adjourned.
Man, this is kinda going well, not gonna lie. Thank you so much, Mr. Wright. I was right to ask you to defend me.
Oh, really? It's nothing. Grin. Or should I? Sniff.
We'll be going down to the studios for some more wrong person. We'll be going down to the studios for some more investigating. We have to find out more about this director and the producer. They'll be turning up in the next trial as witnesses, for certain. Now's my chance to get material for the cross-examination.
So, Nick, have we figured out just who was in that Steel Samurai costume? Could it really have been old Windbag?
What do you think, Mr. Powers? I don't think it was her, really. Ireland.
Neither do I, Nick.
Yeah, I know. Look, I was just buying time back there.
Someone had to be bad guy for a little bit to take the pressure off Mr. Powers. Poor Windbag, I felt kind of sorry for her. Well, she wasn't winning any points in there with her from my accusation.
Okay, let's go down to the studios.
Right, we'll be back to visit you soon.
Thanks, guys. To be continued. Well, that was a pretty exciting episode, if I do say so myself.
And, you know, a lot of stuff happened. The trial's not actually going terribly wrong for once, which is pretty great.
And, see you next time, champs.